The main difference between serials and traditional cinema is their duration. It often plays into the hands of the writers, helping to better develop the characters and smoothly develop the story. In this top there will be shows that only get prettier with each season. This will include titles that have already become classics, as well as recently completed ones. There will be no standard sitcoms, an anthology of famous series. This video only counts completed stories, and only those that have developed over at least 3 seasons. This top is based not on subjective opinion, but on publicly available statistics, charts with analytics, which you yourself can easily find on Google if you wish. Thanks to this approach, only projects with consistently high marks were included in the list, which became even higher closer to the finale. The most controversial representative of this list. Fans of the series about the brilliant but insufferable Doctor are still arguing about the finale of the 8-season epic. Someone considers him ideal, someone furiously scolds, and someone is sure that the show should have ended much earlier. It's hard to say who is right, but the average rating of the rating shows that House MD had no failures at all, and the finals were grandiose every time. Yes, in the last season, several episodes sank to an anti-record 7.6 points. But by the end of it, the schedule of estimates rushed up sharply. The last episode received the same 9.4 as The Sopranos with The Wire. This fact already says it all. But at the same time, it's hard to argue with fans who saw the final episodes of other seasons as the perfect ending. Indeed, in 4 cases, the average rating of the last episode of the season was above 9.5. The ending of the 4th was especially successful, receiving an unprecedented 9.8 at that time. You can argue as much as you like that House MD has slipped to the final. But numbers and common sense tell a different story. Each season, the authors at first upset the fans and inspired the idea that the former heights could no longer be reached, but they regularly accelerated closer to the end, proving the opposite. House MD reinvented the medical series, revived and launched the careers of a huge number of actors and got into the Guinness Book of Records with the largest audience at the time of 2013. The most significant series in the history of the Fox channel established the anti-hero as the main character of modern pop culture, set the fashion for detective lines in the spirit of Sherlock Holmes and showed how well-developed through plots can make even the most predictable genre exciting. Another important project for the development of the golden era of serials. Again, the torment of the anti-hero in the center of the story. Again, an unexpected look at the popular sphere, and again the colossal love of both viewers and critics. Mad Men is the only historical series in this video. But like others, he deserved this place by breaking the standard concept. No, the portrait of the 60s here is still reliable and as good as ever. The costumes are excellent, the reactions to the key events of the era are realistic, and the taste of whiskey and the smell of cigarettes seem to be felt through the screens. But the era is just the backdrop for a fairly modern behind-the-scenes story of today's hugely popular area of marketing. Mad Men tells about the origin of advertising. But the PR techniques from this show are relevant even today, and the attitude and problems of the characters can easily be transferred to any other corporate series. The first 2 seasons were received with restraint, and the next 5 set the bottom bar at 7.8 points, from which they pushed higher and higher. The more the characters felt the consequences of self-destruction and widespread cynicism, the deeper Don Draper plunged into a psychological hole, and the more ruthless authors castigated the vices of the consumer society, the more awards and recognition the series received, plunging the characters to the very bottom. Showrunner Matthew Weiner did not mock them, but showed that it is never too late to change and even the biggest sinners have a chance. As the drama grew, so did the scores, which increasingly reached 9.5 points or even higher. The Mad Men ended on the usual rating for the classic series of that era, 9.4 out of 10. This happened already in the new Golden Era. And when the cast of promising actors and forgotten heroes turned into a stellar set of names from Jon Hamm and Christina Hendricks to Jared Harris and Elizabeth Moss. After the grand finale in the Western media, Mad Men was given a very precise, albeit humorous, definition: the most influential series that no one has ever seen. The last episode was watched by only 3 million people, which in no way prevented the project of Matthew Weiner from becoming a cult and forever changing the industry by returning fashion to '60s, popularizing experiments with genres and anticipating a new ethic. The Sopranos, a recognized classic and, in the opinion of a considerable number of critics, the best series in history. The greatness of the David Chase's show is largely based on continuous improvement. Starting as a tale of a mafia boss's midlife crisis, The Sopranos has gradually evolved into a detailed analysis of early 21st century American society. David Chase was the first to understand that TV series can not only be created according to the canons of cinema, but also make something more out of dramatic stories. The project has become a tool for a deep and systematic disclosure of characters. And not only the main ones, but also the secondary ones. And, if the first season, albeit with reservations, looked like a long film, then in the future the authors finally switched to the structure that became the key to today's golden era of series. The Sopranos is the foundation upon which the modern industry stands. Breaking Bad simply wouldn't have happened without the success of HBO's first super popular project. This is not an unfounded statement. It was David Chase who first showed how to work with an anti-hero as a central character, how to subtly weave actual social problems into the narrative, and how to complete a monumental story of 6 seasons, each of which naturally became better than the previous one, and steadily increased the number of viewers. And the average rating of ratings only once fell below 8 points. It's quite a bit. The final episode is called by many the best in the history of the industry. Although there will be examples on this list with scores even higher than the solid 9.4. Another project from among the greatest when compiling tops. The series delves into the underworld of Baltimore City life, revealing the drug trade, police corruption, and power machinations. As a result, the show is hard to compete in terms of the number of viewers and awards with other projects from this list. Although at the same time, according to critics, a place in any 10 best series in history is always guaranteed to him. The numbers speak for themselves. The graph of ratings for each episode looks like a steadily growing scale, falling slightly only on fillers or on the opening episodes of the seasons. And they are traditionally given lower marks than the finals. By the way, with the endings of this show has always been in full order. Completions of all seasons consistently scored above 9, except for the second, which ended at 8.9 anyway and earned critical acclaim for its bold move. The decision to move away from the more audience-friendly stories of drug traffickers towards illustrating the lives of port workers. Renewing the central themes each season has been the key to The Wire's success. Without losing the key storylines, the authors seem to reinvent the series every time. It's no wonder that engaging storytelling in David Simon's project is regularly compared to reading a good book. In this case, it is unlikely that additional explanations are needed about which series we are talking about. The Sopranos and The Wire are great and adored by many, but even they could not become such a popular and recognizable phenomenon of modern culture as Breaking Bad. The Vince Gilligan series also has an objective superiority. It was he who first achieved the maximum average score for the final episode, 9.9. It is virtually impossible to get 10 even for such works. Let's leave the debate about the best ending in history to the fans and assure that in The Sopranos, in The Wire, and in Breaking Bad, the authors managed to complete complex works in a standard way. Against this backdrop, the story of Walter White stands out in a different way. Incredible stability with bold decisions. With initially very high ratings from viewers and critics, the series in this respect only grew from season to season. For example, Jesse Pinkman was originally planned to be killed at the end of the first season, but they changed their minds, drawing attention to how the audience liked the Aaron Paul's hero. The arcs of other characters and the final denouement were also rewritten at the last moment, constantly surprising the fans. Today, Breaking Bad is the most popular brand, the gold standard of serial quality and an example for all showrunners how to make a story with an initially cool first season only better. That's all for now, and if you liked the video, smash thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Watch a good movie and see you soon.